Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
That's right, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Town Club or possibly Macias Insurance. Whoever he's giving his advertising away to. The Sea Shanty Sing-Along is underway at Morrison's Irish Pub. We got trivia night going on at about 6:30 now at the Conservatory tonight. In Alton, Grand Band underway at Big Daddy's in Edwardsville until 9 o'clock. 6:30 tonight, Rogers and Dean House and acoustics in the park down at Veterans Park and Pontoon Beach. And let's see, Frankie and the House Shakers shaking it up at Patrick's in Granite City, already underway until 9 o'clock. Steve Klein started at 5:30 tonight, going to 8:30 for the golf carts at Prairie Inn in Dorsey. And of course, Experience Live Music Row underway, and we got more going on in the Riverbend on a Thursday night and a Friday night and a Saturday night right in the middle of October. And my name's Dennis, and that guy that keeps trying to talk, his name's
Pre-show just a little too long, man.
And tonight we're going to be selling perfume, and I don't think Tupperware is part of that. That's a different lady.
That's a different lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
First time on the show for the Avon ladies.
That's right. It's got to be, right?
Yeah.
But we've had Fritz on before.
Yeah, but
not
as an Avon lady.
Not as an Avon
lady. Not as an Avon lady, right.
Not as an Avon lady.
We talked about the Avon ladies.
Yeah.
We talked about every single band you've been in at one point.
That's a lot. Maybe I probably went on a little too long, didn't I?
Oh, no, not long enough, man. Not long enough.
I think I pre-gamed too long. I dug deep, put you on the table, and pulled out some past. But yeah, we're talking officially to the Avon ladies. That way we can say we had someone different on this week.
Yeah, sure. It's a whole new guest, a brand new guest.
Fritz lady is Fritz lady.
Fritz
Avon lady.
Fritz lady.
Avon lady is Fritz Beer.
And then Todd lady is here.
Todd lady.
Todd lady.
And Fritz Beer, Todd lady, and the reason that we are talking to the Avon ladies is because you're getting ready to do a show. You're going to be playing, and it's been a minute.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, right?
You want me to
let's dig back. How long has it been?
Todd? 1984, 5.
Was it like the last show?
Right.
Could it have been that long
reunion show
ago?
itself?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and that was a
reunion show. Yeah.
For real.
Now, because I remember seeing you guys in the 80s.
I used to play Timbalo's Palazzo all the time.
Yeah.
Well, the Bishops were 86, so it was pre that.
Yeah, I guess.
You were junior high, dude.
I guess it all, like I said, it all runs together.
The Bishops were
It's one big long nightmare.
The Bishops were pretty quick after that Avon Ladies reunion show, like within a couple of months.
We'd already had kind of a thing going between with the Bishops already kind of underway.
Yeah.
And then the Avon ladies said, let's do a kickback show. We did a reunion show, but we were kind of done a year or so before that.
Yeah.
Officially done. But we had a really nice kind of run though. Back in those days, we had a bunch of college shows that we played, and we played a bunch of shows in St. Louis, and we were doing good, and we were like writing our own stuff, and we thought we were hot shit. We weren't that good. No. but we practiced a lot, and that helps. I mean,
right.
If you're tight.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was another guy during that time who was in a punk band that's been around and is still around, and he gave that punk band a name, Dead Planet.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we're going to be talking about that guy quite a bit tonight because this whole show you guys are putting on is for Gus in remembrance of Gus Kodros.
Right. And Dead Planet's going to play a couple songs of that show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole idea behind this show on October 21st is that Gus Kodros was a drummer. In fact, I think him and I had been in here together before.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think he was on the phone. Because he lived in Rolla.
Is that right?
Yeah, you were in the studio when he was on the phone with us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so the Bishops were we did a couple of these shows, just these one-off shows, and the reunion shows. And that's what they are. They're fun, and it's like a big kind of a party reunion, too. Because a bunch of people come out and go, so it's a fun thing. So, they're not necessarily a band, it's a serious band because we're not together, but we love doing these shows. They're fun. So we're like, okay, let's do one. Let's just do one once a year. And that was the plan. But then Gus, unfortunately, took his own life. And then COVID happened, and, so a lot of things got,
the whole world stopped for a minute.
A lot of stuff got messed up. A lot of things were messed up. That was messed up. But we always wanted to do at least another show, to do a Gus tribute show.
Right.
At least another one. And do a tribute to Gus. And so we started talking about this, and we're like, yeah, this is good. And everybody was into it. And everybody's like, okay, we're all happy about this. And Gus's brother is like, oh, man, it'd be great.
AJ.
And so he's like, let me help with stuff like that. And then we thought, okay, well, maybe we get a charity involved with this. And so the charity that this whole show, the proceeds go to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline.
Nice.
Okay, so that's the idea. But we're also supposed to be having fun here.
Yes. Yeah.
We're gonna have a rock show, and we're gonna have fun. We do think Gus would like that. Yeah. Gus always enjoyed these things.
A celebration of his life through the music that he was a part of.
Yeah, and his family's like, they're very appreciative of this. They wanted this to happen.
Nice.
They're just really glad that all this is going to go down. And Gus was an early fan of the Avon Ladies. But that band got him into music. And so I know Todd's always willing to play. The drummers in Florida, we called him, and he said...
Hold on. We got to pause. We can go back to the drummer in Florida, but you just said Todd's always willing to play. Unless it's Bernard's Pub.
Except at Bernard's Pub.
When there's no heat and it's
just had to stick
dead of winter.
And we're playing in full coats.
Yeah, we were playing in full coats. And
oh, man. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt the flow of the story, but I just found that funny.
All right, fine. Maybe not always willing to play.
Well, he's usually willing to play. And then, drummer-wise,
okay, so St. Sin's, he's got time on his hands, and he's like, okay, I'm in. And I wasn't the singer in that band. We had a different singer. I just played guitar.
Right.
And so getting him on board, too, is also this other chore, Jeff Schmidt. And he was a great front man. But it's just always hard to get those things back on board. Everybody's got, lives, and sometimes rock doesn't matter. I mean, don't tell me that. But.
One good rock show can change the world.
I love that. Yeah.
So speaking of drummers and great frontmen, Eric Hornetoad had been fronting.
Oh, he said to tell you hi.
He's been fronting Channel 3 as a frontman, and I've known him since high school. Never seen him as a frontman, and he's a lot of fun to watch play that role.
Yeah, and he's really good.
Oh, he's great. Like I say, I've known him since high school. Back, he had the 2-man band, Rare Breed.
Really?
Him and a bass player. Oh yeah, it was awesome. Him and John, man, it was awesome. Anyway,
and we bring up Eric because he played the last 5 years with the Bishops, right? And Gus was actually the first official drummer for the Bishop. You had a couple of guys before that, but once Gus got in the band, you guys kind of sat with him for about 5 years, right?
That's when it got set, and that's when we started actually taking off and doing pretty well.
And just in case people didn't realize, the Avon Ladies, Fritz Beer, and the Bishops, Fritz Beer.
Yeah.
And Todd.
And Todd AAdmire.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, in case people are sitting around going, what's happening? Maybe I caught him up.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stories.
A lot of bands.
In a flow chart.
I was trying to remember. You're talking about the years that it all happened. So Bishops were 86. Is that what you said? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's like 80 from 86 to 96. Yeah.
So
about 2 years into that's when Gus come along, roughly.
Yeah.
And I met. I feel like the first band when I met Gus, the band he was in was a band called Palace.
Yep.
Tony Morales.
Yeah. Right? The story is Gus turned down the first chance to play with the Bishops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and because he was with Palace.
With Palace, yeah.
Right.
And that was a fun band.
And then it happened again, and that was all through Tim.
That's all through Tim, because I didn't know any of this
right.
stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's
Tim Branstad.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, Dead Planet's on this bill too.
Nice.
Right.
And so awesome. And they called me and said, "Hey man, Gus was in this band, and I didn't really know those guys very well or anything." He goes, "But Gus wrote 2 of these songs, and we want to come and play these 2 songs that Gus wrote."
Oh yeah.
So we're like, okay.
Like I said, Gus come up with the name Dead Planet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And they've been around, like I said, since
82.
Yeah.
Man, I can't.
We say they invented punk rock, but that's just our version of it. Maybe an Alton.
The Butthole Surfer's been around since '78, so I don't know.
Yeah, but no one knew.
Right, but yeah, like I said, it all goes back so far. It all intertwines all these people and all these memories. One long day.
Yeah. Well, one thing about this show is like when we put it on, that a bunch of people did call and say, "Hey, can I get on? Can I get on the bill? Can I get on the bill? I want to do a tribute. I want to pay a tribute."
Yeah.
So it's a cool show. There's a lot of acts and stuff.
And that show's October 21st.
October 21st at the Lodge down here on
Lodge
Macias
at
Street.
Lovejoy.
On like a stage, not like on the second floor of Russ's place where you guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be on an outdoor. It's gonna be outdoor on the stage.
A lot of us partied there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, there's.
But yeah, he's got a really nice place to set.
Second floor of his building. Second floor.
Yeah.
He's got a really nice little setup now, though, to set up and jam. And you guys have played down there and reunioned there before.
It's a really nice place. Probably be a real nice night, weather-wise. It's just going to be a big, like, kind of Alton reunion. A lot of people that we're Avon ladies are good. We practiced recently, and we're like, okay, we're still okay. Bishops are good. But I know that a lot of people just come out because they know there's going to be a lot of people there.
Yeah. Well, and like you say, when a half a dozen bands are going, "Hey, I want to be involved," they tell their friends that remember the music and the shows from back in those days. Like we were discussing when you first walked in, the old pizza or Papa John's and the Showbiz Pizza, the Youth Center, Avon. Like if you were part of that kind of weird scene back in the '80s. Yeah. And went, and you remember them taking the salt shakers off the showbiz tables because someone's going to chuck one in the middle of a white trash song or whatever.
That's right. If you ever went to a show at Pizza John's, you should come out to this show.
Right, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Anybody who remembers any of that, you just come on out and
Or Timbalo Palazzo. So the
absolutely.
Avon Ladies played a bunch of shows there.
We played there at least once a month.
Yeah, it was a once a month deal. Billy Belli had us at Timbalo's. And it was a packed, great, fun night. Yeah. It's always a blast. The Alton crowd is honestly great,
And a lot of great bands come from that era, and a lot of those guys are going to be at this show. Like Judge Nothing, Doug Rafferty's going to be there, right?
Yep, Doug Rafferty will be there. Flea is going to show up from Judge Nothing. Flea's going to get up and play a couple things.
Nice.
Gus's cousin, Gigi Dar.
Right. Taught him piano.
Yeah. And she's a great player. Matt Tall.
Right.
Matt Tall's playing. Again, Dead Planet. Todd Keith is going to show up and do a song.
Right, Autumn Clock. Mm-hmm.
Am I forgetting somebody?
Yeah. The guy from the Nukes.
Oh, yeah. So a band from St. Louis, the American Professionals, will be on the bill. Chuck Lindo is in the Nukes, and we used to play a lot of shows with the Nukes, and so he was associated with Gus quite a bit.
Yeah.
He wanted to come over and play. And
Also, the Nukes, was that like the Kennedys era?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I remember the Nukes, but I was trying to place like where it was, and I started feeling like Kennedys is where I saw.
If you ever saw the Nukes at Kennedy's, it was just a
party.
It was a riot, man. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so if you're into punk rock, especially you younger guys, and you want to know the history of Alton punk rock, we're going through it right now, and you can meet a lot of these guys on October 21st.
Come out and see the geezers.
I was down at Rock the Hops when Doug played, Doug Rafferty.
Yeah.
And, man, it was a reunion. There's Fragile Porcelain Mice there. There's, Judge Nothing. There's probably some of you guys were there. I know some of the Bishops were there for sure. But most importantly, Dan Deck was there.
Dan Deck, right.
So,
yeah, that,
bring him up.
Anytime, that one of the bands is getting together, it creates this old school reunion type feel. But now you got a bunch of them. You got a whole handful of them, so there's no reason to not come out, even if you're, like I say, even if you're not from the old scene and you don't, you're not like gonna reminisce about high school. If you're a younger guy and you're wanting to know some history from Alton musicians and music, this is gonna be a blast through the past for sure.
And here's some good stuff. I mean, honestly, there's all these guys, and I'm throwing myself in there, and the Avon ladies too, I think wrote a lot of really fun, cool music.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I brought up the young punk rockers, because I'm listening to some of this stuff, getting ready for the interview, and I'm like, man, this is right into what's going on now.
It's our town, man.
Yeah, for real.
Well,
so I mean, hearing some of the younger bands and hearing the older bands too now, I'm like, there's a lot of similarities here.
And even though these are bands that are dating back to the early 80s, in that band we discussed that started in 82, there's actually a high schooler playing with them.
That's right.
Punk rock high schooler that's in Dead Planet. So she
is he the drummer?
Yeah, the drummer.
She's actually the leader of the band now. She's taking over Dead Planet.
Yeah, it's gonna get a young drummer, because the old drummers are like, I'm too worn out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to keep up, and she my daughter plays with her in the I believe she's part of the Marching 100 at this point too. So good,
that's cool.
So there's going to be like a big span of age groups that should be interested. Everyone should be interested.
Yeah.
In case people don't know, Gus Kodros was a drummer. So I want to bring that up.
Yep.
And I played with tons of different bands, like you mentioned, Palace, right?
Yeah, that was the earliest.
I want to mention Culture Shock.
Oh yeah,
right?
Come on, man.
I believe that's Darren Gray, right?
Yeah.
And I believe Tim was in that band too. I think that's one of the bands where he started recruiting Gus to, possibly come to the Bishops, and Gus is like, well, I'm doing Palace, maybe after that.
Right.
And that happened after that because they were in school together over at SIUE. And Tim seen him again and said, hey, another chance.
Yeah.
And Gus said in the interview we did previously that he was like, I often said around, and kind of said, why'd I not take that the first time?
Right.
But you never know at that age. You just never know. I mean, he's jamming with Tony Morales.
And Tony
who was probably the hottest guitar player around at the time.
He was a smoking guitar player who was like a kid. I mean, he was young compared to most of us. He was several years younger than a lot of us that were in that scene. And then, I think the singer Lance Klein, he grew up in my neighborhood. Right. I played basketball in his backyard every day, and I don't know that he even stayed with music much longer after that. But he had a stage presence about him that made you go, wow, you felt like he belonged up there, Or I was one of those guys who kind of look at the floor a lot, look around sometimes. I just want to play music and not be seen as much as.
That's actually how our singer in the Avon Ladies, Jeff Schmidt, is. He has a presence about him, and he kind of draws everybody in.
Yeah.
Well, he draws everybody in, or he pushes them away, depending upon.
Okay, that's punk rock.
That's right.
People either love him
Did you
or
ever
hate him.
tell the story about the hamburger incident?
Let me tell you the story real quick.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Well, we have a song called Jack in the Box, and it's the theme is I want to date the girl at the Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
So we wrote this song and everything, and so we're playing up in Jackson.
Isn't that Drew Mader and Hope? I'm pretty sure they met at Jack in the Box. So this song, anyway,
this might ring true with them. But we were playing it was Illinois College in Jacksonville.
Illinois College, yeah.
And we're playing this big college event, and everybody comes out to this event. And our lead singer had a couple of his henchmen come with him. And McDonald's was having some anniversary special, so McDonald's was selling hamburgers for 39 cents or something.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And so we bought bags and bags of them. And we all ate a bunch of them. And we still had bags and bags and bags. So we start playing the song Jack in the Box, and unbeknownst to us, just our lead singer had those bags on stage, and he starts throwing the burgers out.
Oh.
As he's throwing them out, they start to come unwrapped, and they're flying apart. Oh. Right? So now the bun's opened up, and he's just slinging them. People are getting hit in the head.
Pickles.
Yeah, the guy had a pickle in his head. Stuck to his head like this. And, right.
and that probably influenced Whopper's Taste Good,
I was going to
who
say
used to throw food out at every show.
I was just going to say, in the audience of that show was a member of Whopper's Taste Good. It was their whole shtick, man. It might have been. Really? They would just throw Whoppers at you while they did their show, man.
So everybody got kind of mad, and Schmidt's like, "What the hell, man? I'm just trying to have fun here. Just look, if you want to throw whatever you want at me." And he goes to the front of the stage, and he stands up here like this. He said, "Throw what you want at me." And there was a beer party and stuff, so people were just coming up and just smashing him with beers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And picking up that stuff off the floor and hitting him with it. And Todd and I ran behind the drum riser. We were like, "Oh,
taking cover.
We don't want to be involved in this."
He stood up there and took it. He's like, "Everybody cool?" And everybody's like, "Yeah, let's keep playing."
Was that a house party? Was that a house party or
No, that was actually a college or a fraternity event.
okay?
Yeah, because it was like in a
Fraternity.
warehouse.
The guys always break your stuff at frat shows. No. They always break your gear. No.
So we got more stories and more names to throw around, and but I want to get to the rest of Thursday, Pigpen, because it's already 20 after.
Yeah, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun, man.
Riley and the Groove, 7 to 11 tonight at Fast Eddie's, which we're going to talk about again. Let's see. Keys and Strings, 7 to 11 at Deutz Village Inn in Pontoon Beach. Just B is playing at the Speakeasy in Granite City from 7 to 10 inside. Merv 5, 7:30 at the Old Harold Brewery in Collinsville. And I think that wraps up our Thursday night. And the reason I brought up Fast Eddie's is I want to talk to Fritz about what he's doing right now down in Texas. Are you mirroring Fast Eddie's in a way?
Yeah, we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We just tried to make a good wheel. And we always loved Fast Eddie's. And it's my business partner and I, it was our favorite place to go.
Yeah.
And we love Fast Eddie's. And we said we could do this anywhere. This is a great concept. Let's do it. And we always wanted to do it. And then the time was right a couple years ago, and we went ahead and started it.
Yeah.
And Eddie Jr. Has been nothing but a gem of a guy to help us with everything.
Nice.
Awesome.
And we asked his permission. So we don't want to call it Fast Eddie's. We want to call it just the Bon Air because we love that name.
So before Fast Eddie Jr., they had Fast Eddie Sr. Before that, it was just called the Bon Air, and Ladio Blanco owned it.
Yeah, and his dad lived upstairs.
My dad was good friends with Ladio, and he lived in the apartment upstairs in the 50s.
Wow.
And,
we were always wondering about the name, and I asked Junior about it.
Big fun.
Huh?
That was for you, Mom.
Big fun.
Big fun, doesn't it?
Okay.
Bon Air.
Good, or good climate, something like that.
Yeah,
But
I think in friendship it translates to big station, I guess. Yeah, so you got so what city in Texas?
In Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas, which is the just great music city.
That's the place to be in Texas.
Yeah, if you're gonna put up with the Texas heat, that's where you want to be. That's what
you talk about it, man. I don't even think about it. This summer was brutal.
My deodorant melted again.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about Eddie Jr. helping us get it going and stuff like that. And it's a great place. It's a great concept, and we try to stay true to what he has. And a lot of people have come from this area to see it and go, yeah, man, you guys got it all. You got the shrimp, you got the beef kebab, and the same menu and everything. And
you got the big Elwood.
Yeah,
you got to give Elwood some residuals on it.
I mean, you probably should because it's a genius little recipe.
Pizza's doing fine. Pizza's doing fine. He's fine. Yeah, he's doing fine. He's doing great.
Right. He hears this and I get a phone call now.
Right.
So yeah, October 21st at the Lodge at Lovejoy. Rain or shine.
Yeah.
Gus Kodros tribute. Because you guys can move inside if you have to.
Yeah.
Right. And all kinds of names that played with Gus or knew him very well. And like I said, old school punk rock reunion right here in downtown Alton. And a lot of these bands, we just talked to Doug Rafferty about what Judge Nothing did. And we've talked to Fritz in the past about the Bishops. You guys were up and down the East Coast, played at CBGB's twice. Right?
It would have been 3 times except they had a fire.
Right.
And the third time we were going there, it was burnt out.
I'm sure you wore combat
Just
boots.
be happy you didn't get electrocuted on stage, man.
They had the dog.
Right. So the fleas wouldn't bite you, you know. Right. So, yeah. But Gus played, I think, both of those shows with you at CBGB's.
So, yeah.
And that's when he left the band for Small Ball Paul, was right around that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, Small Ball Paul got signed to Sony.
And he knew they were getting signed, and that's when he made the move to Small Ball. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, I love you guys, but there's a paycheck over here. I haven't had chicken in a while, man.
Remember that last time I made that decision? I went the backwards way. I'm going forwards this time, and I'm going to just try this. And he got on No, they didn't quite get on MTV. They made an MTV video, though.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Huh.
I thought they actually made it on MTV. Yeah.
No, it was another show that did videos. He mentioned it, but I don't remember the name of it. It was made for MTV, but you got to get on there.
I think I was mad.
Yeah, probably.
Man, when are you gonna go sign with some indie label? He's like, it's Sony.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, well, fine then.
I'm pretty sure.
Can I borrow some money then?
If you want to see that, it's still available. The Small Ball video that was made. And matter of fact, we did a video when we found out that Gus passed away of a interview that he came in. We do it like a pre-interview. Fritz knows it takes like an hour sometimes, and we just sit around and josh it up, and then make sure we can get all the good details of the history in a line, so that we can because there's not a lot of places to go find this stuff.
Yeah.
You got to get it from the guys, and I told Gus about this, and he came in and was ready, and sat there and pretty much verbatim read off what I was going to ask. And I didn't really have to do anything, so I had that whole thing recorded.
Well, he was a video producer, so he probably this is like how his brain was working. By the way, there will be Small Ball Paul CDs available at this show.
Okay,
nice.
So we got a supply from them, from some of the guys, and some T-shirts, Small Ball Paul T-shirts too. That those guys. Windler was the guy. Jeff Windler, I think, was the singer, and he sent some of this stuff over for us to have for this show, so that we can
more memorabilia of Gus.
Yeah, and it's for sale, but again, that all goes to 988. So
right. Yeah. And just to finish the Gus tribute that we put out at the end of that video is the Small Ball Paul video, so you can check out Gus with the tribute interview and check out the video.
See, I want to actually go back and watch the video of this a few minutes ago, and I want to look at Todd.
A few minutes ago.
I want to. Well, what happened just a few minutes ago? I want to see Todd's face when you say, "We do a pre-interview that takes an hour." When he walked in and we were on air in 60 seconds, he's like, "What are you talking about?
Pre-interview?
There was no pre-interview. There was no foreplay.
Yeah,
you didn't even kiss me or nothing, man. You sat me down, introduced me, and there it was."
Well, just like all bands,
sometimes we do a pre-interview.
We have evolved. The show. Now, back when I started the show, it was just me.
Yeah.
So, if I'm going to go on and talk to a guest, I want to have really good information, right? So, but now that Fritz is back, I just listen to the interviews that we've already done, and remember to bring that up again.
See,
like CBGB's. Why wouldn't I bring that up again?
Yeah. I just make it all up as I go along. Most of it's not true. I'm just saying words. Hoping it rhymes or something.
So, the Bishops toured, but were they signed when that happened?
We weren't really signed. We had a distribution deal with Community 3 Records, but it wasn't really a signed deal. They just did a distribution thing with us.
Right.
Which meant we, pretty much paid for the product, but at least they got it out there.
You did have an agent, though.
We had a booking agent who was really good. I mean, he got us in front of a lot of people. We played in front of Smashing Pumpkins.
Right.
We played with Soul Asylum. A bunch
One
of
of your
bands.
favorite, Soul Asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of groups from that era, and he got us into the Metro in Chicago a lot, and they liked us a lot too. And they would call us to come up and play all the time.
Now, is that where you guys played with Smashing Pumpkins because they were out of Chicago?
No, we played with them in Champaign.
Okay. Was that pre them getting signed?
There was something going on with them at the time, but it wasn't like the blow up time.
Right.
I mean, Billy Corgan had like really long hair.
He's still
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah. And so did you guys kick it with those guys and hang out with them, or was it just a show where you opened? And
Yeah, we opened the show, and I really don't remember talking to them very much.
yeah. But I know you guys helped out Uncle Tupelo. You guys actually got them a gig in St. Louis or something like that. Tell us about that.
So Tony Margarita called us. So we were playing. We had a steady gig up in Eastern Illinois University, and they wanted to get up there. And Tony Margarita called us and said, "Hey man, can we go up and open for you guys up in your gig in Eastern?" And we're like,
Yeah.
You guys are doing fine. What the hell?" He goes, "Well, we want to get up there." And so they went up and opened a show for us up in Eastern. Tony goes, I'll pay you back one day. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And we liked those guys anyway. We sort of knew them. I mean, we liked Tweety. Jay doesn't speak, I don't think. I mean, he sings, but he doesn't speak. Right. But anyway, they were real cool guys and stuff, and we hung out and saw them a lot and did a bunch of different shows with them. But when it came payback time, Tony Margarita, so now these guys had kind of blown up.
Yeah.
And when it came payback time, Tony Margarita said, "Hey man, do you guys want to come down to the Blue Note and open for us?" In Columbia,
yeah.
Blue Note. And
Nice
we went and opened that show, and oh man, it was fantastic.
Yeah. That's a cool spot,
It's a
too.
great
That's
venue.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're playing Carnegie Hall because they've got
Right.
those balconies and stuff. Yeah. And so it's like a sea of people in front
And
of
you got all those college kids.
And they packed it.
Yeah, I was going to say you got a whole college full of kids looking for a place to party, and the Blue Note's the spot.
Yeah. And
So
that's
he paid Merit. I mean, Tony was great. He's true to his word and all that stuff. And those guys were cool. And I just really liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those guys were down here partying with you guys during that time. I think it was Doug Rafferty that said, he was at a party and there's Uncle Tupelo, and at the time, it wasn't that big a deal yet. But looking back on it, it's surreal to think, these were our friends. We're just hanging out, creating punk rock in some loft, possibly below Russ Smith's place.
We were going to... Yeah, they
may have had a floor, may not have had a floor. I don't know. There's rumors.
Second floor. I think we condemned that at that party because we ruined the floor. The Uncle Tupelo challenged us to a drink. I don't forget which way it went. Somebody got challenged. We challenged each other to a drinking contest. And they're like, "Yeah, but you guys are 4-piece." And we're like, "It's okay, Tim doesn't drink." So we're like, it never happened. But.
Hey,
if it did happen, nobody remembers.
Who won? Who knows?
No one knows.
Did you ever tell the story about when we opened for the Dead Kennedys as the Avon Ladies?
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Tell that story, please.
Well, so the Avon Ladies opened for the Dead Kennedys.
That's it.
End of story.
That was a great story.
I will say this.
You guys didn't go out stealing people's mail or anything? I mean,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so normally when we set up, I was on the right, Fritz was on the left, but because we were using, who was the middle band? Anyway, we were using somebody else's equipment. So bass amp was on the left, so I had to set up on the left, it was an all ages show, and so they kept the under 18 crowd on the left.
Okay.
I took a lot of abuse. A lot of things were thrown at me. A lot of gum.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of that time dodging things.
Yeah, because an opening gig's not always the best gig sometimes. I mean, because people want to see the Dead Kennedys. They don't want to see the
They
Avon.
want to see you. They want to see the Avon Ladies.
Did you remember Animal House? Over on 367.
That became Club
It
367.
became Club 367 after it was Animal House, and they served what was called the Toxic Brew.
Right.
And I can't tell you what was in it. It was a pitcher full of liquor. But then they would take a glow stick and break it open and drop it in there so it would glow green when they served it to you. And when you're on stage, these people would, they'd drink their Toxic Brew, and then they would throw the glow stick at you. And usually in the state of mind I was in, there's like 5 of them coming at me in slow motion, and you're like, I said, "Can it get me?" But you felt like you never felt like angry that even if one pegged you in the head, you're just like, yeah, this is part of playing here.
That's right. Punk rock show.
It's a punk rock show, man. I never been hit with a Jack in the Box hamburger, though. I've been hit with Whoppers before, but never Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
I missed the greatest show ever.
One of the guys at the show, I saw him years later. He goes, I walked in, I got hit in the head with a hamburger. I was all decked out trying to pick up chicks that night. I got hit in the head with a hamburger. I got a big schwack of mustard in my hair and some shit on my clothes. And I turned around and walked out, and I'm like, I hate that band. I'm never going to see him again. And he told me this like years later. Something came up because you were in the Avon Ladies.
He should have stuck around because there would have been one girl there that's like, let me lick the mustard out of your head.
Yeah, clean you up.
Right? Oh, man. See?
Yeah, so hamburgers, kind of outdid Dead Kennedy's opener, I think, as far as the story here.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I wish I could remember more of the Dead Kennedy show.
TV party tonight.
We just kind of played the show. And
That's Black Flag.
I don't even remember. Black Flag, Dead Kennedy's.
I do remember.
It's all the same.
Dead Kennedy's Jello.
I know.
Yeah, Jello. I remember standing outside at the end of the show out and back of Mississippi Nights. And I heard Jello talking to somebody. He goes, well, there's never been a band in St. Louis like us. And, I was like, oh, well, whatever, Jello.
Yeah. How do you know? You've seen every band in St. Louis.
Yeah,
rock and roll was invented right here between us and St. Louis.
That's kind of smug, but whatever.
Yeah.
Jello. I still like Jello. I thought he was
change your name to Pudding.
Pudding Pop.
Right.
All right, so let's jump back into some gigs that are going on around town. On a Friday night here in the River Bend, the Pig and Daisies are going to be playing at the Flock Food Truck lot from 6 to 9 on Friday night. Lonesome Blues at the Conservatory from 8 to 11. And they just wrote Lonesome Blues on this one. So for the confusion,
Garcia's Lonesome Blues.
Well, no, on this bill it's just Lonesome. Okay. He told us he keeps changing it, and so I just want to be up to date. Pigpen.
All right, you're doing great.
Truckers, 7:30 to 11:30 at Fast Eddie's Bone Air in Alton. Buzztones 7 to 11 at the BFW in Alton. Kevin Garun at Sports Tap from 8 to 11. And here we go, Matt Tall, who will be playing October 21st, and Matt Van Boris are going to be playing together on Friday night with this band they call Stubblefield.
The Stubblefield.
And this show is brought to you by Stubblefield and Matt Van Boris. And you can check them out at Baker's and Hale on a Friday night from 7 to 11. You can check Matt out at the reunion tour with the Bishops and the Avon Ladies and Doug Rafferty and all these punk rockers.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when Matt Tall did his punk rock? Never mind. It's still 3 chords in the truth, what he does, I'm just saying. All right, Soulshine Groove, 7 o'clock at the Moose in Wood River. Open mic with Toxic Johnny down at Martin's on Friday night at 8 o'clock. Money Shot at the Refinery Bar at 10 p.m. Start there in Wood River. AJ Russo up at Grafton Pub from 7 to 11. Bob Gilda over at the Aries Winery from 3 to 7. Flipside at Deutz Village Inn from 8:30 to 12:30 a.m. in Pontoon Beach. And I told you about this show last week. Here it is.
Oh, yeah.
An all-original show at the new venue in Granite City called The Mill. Outstanding little venue and some really cool bands we've talked about here before. Silver Material, Lofty's Comet, and 2 we don't know, Buy Her Candy and Chain Link.
Good for them getting an all original show at the Mill, because it's a really nice venue. It's new, and I'm sure
and Mayor
hard to sell original music to some of the people.
Mayor Mike Parkinson said that the youth groups down there, I believe in the high school, put it all together too. So a learning experience for the kids as well.
Excellent.
Here's an old guess.
Huh?
He was in your house.
That's right.
Ronaldo Mercado during COVID. We had to record at your house. Right next to his grow room.
What did he said, I didn't know I was coming to some grow room dungeon.
He's a comedian, and they're having comedy night down at Tegan's on Friday night in Granite City.
I had a grow tent in my studio. It's the big deal. It's totally legal now.
It's legal.
Nothing wrong with that. 2020.
I got a license that says I can do that.
Yeah, for real. Times are changing. Scrumpy looking Nerf Herder will be playing from 7 to 10. Now you got a little confused on this one last week, Pigpen, and it was a very confusing show because Fragile Porcelain Mice was here, and if you ever heard Fragile Porcelain Mice do a radio show, you got to keep up with them.
They move fast.
I mean, they just a million miles an hour there. And anyways, so Machine Gun Alley is the outside venue at the Speakeasy in Granite City. So they got an indoor-outdoor thing.
Gotcha, okay.
And it's all decorated, old school gangster down there. So you got Machine Gun Alley outside, and that's where Scruffy's going to be playing.
All right.
Scruffy looking Nerf herder.
SLNH, they call it. You ain't got time to say scruffy looking Nerf herder.
Right.
Who's my Nerf herder? So the Speakeasy is the venue we've just recently started talking about. I don't know how old it actually is, but Machine Gun Alley is the outside stage that connected.
You got old beat up car out there or something, probably with some bullet holes or something in it,
Look,
If not, maybe they'll let us put some in it. I'm not sure. I
drove a car in college. I drove a '63 dump truck that had 6 bullet holes down the side, and that was like my daily driver.
I remember seeing the Bonnie and Clyde car down at Eastgate.
Yeah,
they had it down there one time. Anyway, speaking of shows, Hard Drive, 8 o'clock at Patrick's in Granite City, and how about this? Sabbath is going to be playing the Wild E. Well, that's what they're called, Sabbath, the complete Black Sabbath experience.
Really? Oh,
nice.
8 o'clock at the Wild E.
That's probably a great show, I bet.
I got to see the Sabbath lineup when they did the reunion that in the '90s where Iommi came back and man, what a great show that was.
I just got tickets to a future event at the Wild E Theater coming up October 29th. It's a Zappa tribute.
Oh.
But here's the kicker. Chad Wackerman is the drummer. Was with...
What's the date on that?
October 29th. It's about half sold, so you need to move. You need to move on this one. But Chad Wackerman, 7 years with Zappa.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And anybody who stays more than if you even get to play with Zappa, you know what you're doing, but you don't stick around long if you're in a band like that. His job was to train musicians to go make hits for the record company.
So there you go. One of my favorite Sabbath and my ultimate favorite Frank Zappa coming. So I'm
That's
stoked.
That's a good one, man.
Poor Dirty Astronaut, our favorite name from around town. One of them.
Yep.
9 o'clock at the back bar, right across the parking lot. They're from the Wild E. Lane and Julie around the corner at Big Daddy's from 6 to 9 and to the SIUE Cougar Fest.
Is that what I think it is?
Yeah, in your browser it is. Anyways, it's a block party. And calm down. Calm down.
Cougar Fest.
That's nice.
Let's go.
Cougar Fest. Sounds all right to me, man. Like
college, where Gus went, Gus Kodros,
I thought
and Tim, and they got together and formed the Bishops from that Cougar.
We went to SIU too. So did I.
Fest.
Yeah, these guys went there too.
So did a bunch of Cougars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't Cougars at the time. They are now. I don't know how it
I don't
works.
know if they're Cougars anymore. I think they're...
Hey,
Cougar Fest will have Jackson.
Young,
I don't know.
You guys are Cougars. I mean, come on. Let's get right down to it.
Yeah, we're Cougars. Absolutely.
Anyhow, Jackson and Mars. We don't want to forget to plug the band.
All right.
From 6 to 10 at the City Park in Edwardsville. That's on Friday night. Skylark Brothers are in Edwardsville at the 1818 Chop House from 7 to 10. And Bobby and Jimmy Rowlands. Beowulf, 7 to 10 at the Moose, and there's some legends there. Skylark Brothers and Bobby and Jimmy.
Jack Tweston, and then you got the Beowulf boys from the Granny's Rocker.
That's right.
Yeah.
Double Tap at the cabin at Judy Creek from 7 to 11. And where's Dave? He's at the Night of Rock Stars in Collinsville.
Dave's not here.
That's a band. Where's Dave? Short Mist up at the Rustic in Warden, and another comedy night. This will be Ryan Hamilton, Courtney, Brando, Chris, and Tim at the Lincoln Theater in Belleville, where they have Experience Live Music Row each and every weekend, and they have someone from The Voice playing 2 nights down there. His name's Jordan Rayner.
All right.
And you know who I'm rooting for right now? Ruby Lee.
Ruby Lee.
Got 4 chairs. She plays around here up the Hog Pit, Wild Pickens, some other places.
Ripe old age of 16,
16 years old. She got 4 chairs on The Voice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So come on, Reba.
And she's been out working it for years now already. She's been,
Started when she was 13. But Jordan Rainier will be down at the venue on Main.
All right.
On Friday and Sunday. So 2 chances to check out some guy from the Voice.
Some guy from the Voorhis.
Hey,
I love that.
These guys.
Probably sings all right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many chairs he got.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
there.
I bet he's silky smooth. He lines his throat with Vaseline like Elton John.
I'm sure you can find it on YouTube if you want to find out how many chairs he got.
Hey, Elton John, what?
Yeah, you can find Small Ball Paul.
I don't know. I just say things sometimes. It's not factual. It's just words.
I don't think that was for singing.
That was for something else, man.
They got Dracula Fest down in Belleville too at Spaces.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, Dracula Fest drag show. I didn't finish it, did I?
Now you're speaking my language. Certainly I'm more interested. Cross-dressing Dracula.
Right. Those Lazy Lester guys will be up in Hillsboro, 6:30 to 10.
Right.
Yeah. And Conquest getting back together.
Yeah.
Talk about reunions.
And Torchlight Parade, which
Yes.
those guys all work at a mortuary.
No one has brought us more merch than Torchlight Parade.
They
They had a
completely...
thermos.
They had their own
Probably a
hot
coffee
sauce.
thermos.
They had their own little bottles of hot sauce with their name on it.
They are the Kiss of our area. Torchlight Parade is a funeral, and they're morticians.
Yeah, one of them is an
Right,
embalmer,
so-
one of them drives the hearse. They all work at the same funeral
Really?
home. And then they write songs about it.
I bet they rehearse it there at night.
Yeah,
yeah,
I actually think they do.
Yeah,
They've got a dead audience.
Filmed in front of a dead
Better than we
audience.
normally play it for.
They're playing at the Diamond Music Hall
There you go.
in St. Peter's.
Along with Conquest.
Right.
Which those talk about bands that have been around a long time. Those cats been around a few years.
Right, and we probably should get some of Saturday in while we're rolling. Because, we're just a Saturday. This is what happens every weekend here.
Right.
Riders of the River Bend.
Okay.
It's a mix and mingle.
All right.
I was hoping Uncle Mel would show up.
Right.
But, yeah. So that's going on at Maba's Coffee.
Okay.
You got Close Quarters Band. That's, you know who that is. That's Mark Close.
Mr. Mark Close, yeah.
Really? They're
I worked
playing
with
around.
him. Yeah, he's a great dude. I worked with him for years and just a sweetheart of a dude and not a selfish lover. No, I don't know.
He's playing at
I don't know. I actually don't know that.
Maybe I do it. I don't want to talk about it.
He's at the Alton Marina from 7 to 10 on Saturday. Redemption River will be down at the Flock Food Truck Lock from 7 to 9. And NGK going to be playing the Chili Cook-Off, which is Saturday from noon to 4. Big George Brock. And speaking of Big George Brock, he told us a story about a guy from Austin, Texas, you might have heard of, named Stevie Ray Vaughan, who he seen on a porch one night, passed out for a day.
It was his aunt's porch.
Like a week?
He said it was his aunt's porch in Indiana, and he had got sent there to stay for the summer. And he said, "Man, there's this skinny, greasy-headed white boy sleeping on the porch every day, and you just have to step over him to get out." And a couple years later, there that boy is playing on the TV, and he's got his cowboy hat on. Yeah. but Big George Brock, his dad owned played with Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf, and so he's deep into that.
One of the many creators of rock and roll, which we found out rock and roll started right here on the east side. Those bluesmen were coming up, heading to Chicago, and they'd stop right here because Big George Brock had a place for him to play. And then
he paid him.
Ike Turner running around picking up Bonnie Bramlett, trying to take her across state lines. They wouldn't allow that.
And all that time, while that's all happening, Chuck Berry is hanging out with Johnny Johnson, who's writing stuff like Johnny Be Good on the piano, and Chuck's like, "I'm going to play that on guitar."
Did we just give
distortion.
We just gave you the history of rock and roll that happened right here. And you see this.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Can I plug one?
Yeah. FritzBeerMusic.com.
No. Well, that one. No,
I was getting to that.
You beat it too. No. Andy Dykeman.
Right.
Who was in Judge Nothing. Has a lot to do with the 31 Art Gallery in St. Louis.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
They've got their fall openings happening on Saturday.
Nice.
It was at 5:00. I'm actually doing like a solo set over there.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of other bands playing, and the last band's a full-on band. I don't have the lineup. All I know is all I care about is me.
What's the date? What's the date on it?
So Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
easy to
31
look up.
Art. 31 Art at 3520 Hampton, St. Louis. And Andy's art will be on display there, as well as a bunch of other people. And it's a really, really cool gallery. And Andy Dykman stuff, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but his stuff, I love his stuff.
Awesome.
His artwork is fantastic.
I worked with his uncle Bud Dykman, and he was an artist in making bread at Duke's Bakery. Well, he was a bread thrower there. Yeah. He was awesome.
Right, so a bunch of the artists that are in that show are going to have donated art for the show on the 21st.
Oh, nice.
And they're going to have a silent auction for this. Nice. I don't know how many people are going to bid on, artwork and how much they're going to pay. So there's going to be some really cool artwork at the show on the 21st here at the lodge that you could get for a song.
Right.
So I just wanted to get that.
Yeah,
that's great. That's good.
Exactly the kind of thing we want to talk about.
It reminded me of a question that I wanted to bring up because last week's show we were going through this list. And we looked down, Experience Live Music Row, down in Belleville, a band called the Bishops.
Yeah,
and we're like,
I forgot about that. Yeah,
and Fragile's like, what was this, a pop-up show? They didn't tell anybody. Maybe was that you guys or not?
It wasn't. Somebody sent me that because they played somewhere several weeks ago, and somebody sent me that. And I looked them up. And it's two cats.
Okay.
No, see, look, listen. If you guys are out there calling yourself the Bishops, you can't do that. You could be the Rooks, you could be the Knights, you can't be the Bishops, man.
And you can't be Hooky.
Yeah,
you can't be Hooky.
You can't be Hooky.
They're playing at Baker's and Hale on Saturday from 7 to 10. And we talked about this, the celebration of life for Gabby and Peanuts happening Saturday.
Yeah.
From 2 to 10 at the Moose and Wood River. You ever see Gabby?
No.
He goes way back. This guy took legal LSD.
What's his name?
Gabby McGrath. He's the first one-man band I've ever seen around here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's been like all the bars.
He's been playing music in this area since 1943. No, I don't know if it goes back that far, but it goes back a ways.
Must be pretty good.
The show you guys got coming up on October 21st is for a cause. And we bring Gabby up because Gabby's in the same boat as Gus. He took his own life.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you guys are raising money for 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline.
Yeah.
All the proceeds go. Now, I think it's like a $15 cover to get in.
Yeah, it's $15 cover, yeah.
And all kinds of merch. You got the Double I Bishop.
Well, you get for your $15 cover, you get admission to the show and all the acts that are on the show. That includes, and no one's, sorry about that.
You're out of time.
There's a fire! Everybody run!
No one's getting,
not a drill.
None of the bands want to get, nobody's getting paid. Everybody's doing this voluntarily. Right. So you get the show, that's your donation to 988, and then you get like 2 CDs, and one of them is a Crown Vic CD was the band that I was in Virginia. So it's a really good CD, and I just overprinted is all.
Right. I got to get rid of these. I'm tired of carrying them around.
We've been there. Yeah.
Let's be honest. Right. But it's actually really good.
Yeah, awesome.
And then you get the Live Bishops CD, which is Gus's last recording that he was on, and he's like that's a double album too. It's that whole set in order that it was played.
There you go.
And so you got Gus on there. And
so we've only scratched the surface of what's happening this week in Pigpen. They can check it all out at cottonmouth.org. I'll put it in the description of the video as well, and you can find the links and stuff there. But we want to talk about October 21st while we got Fritz Beer and Todd AAdmire here from the Avon Ladies and the Bishops. And, their show. Who else is going to be playing? Doug Rafferty.
Doug Rafferty from Judge Nothing. Flea's going to come up and play a couple songs.
Todd Keith.
Todd Keith's got one slated. Dead Planet has a couple songs that Gus wrote that they want to play.
I was trying to remember the name of Gigi's band from the day.
Gigi Dar, I don't know.
I seen it on the flyer, but I didn't write it down.
No, well, Gigi. So anyway, Gigi's going to do a couple songs with. She's going to come up and play because she wants to just be a part of it and stuff like that. So she's going to do a couple of songs with a couple of different people.
Okay.
Nice.
And then you've got Matt Hall, of course.
Right.
I mean, I don't think you can do a show in Alton without having Matt Hall all in the bill.
He's sponsored by Matt Van Voorhis. and Halpin Music Company.
Plus, Matt Tall made a very generous $5,000 donation to 98. No, I'm kidding.
He doesn't know it yet.
And Ben Morris might have.
I talked to Matt. I said, "You're gonna be on the show, man." And he's like, "Oh, absolutely." He's like, "I love Gus." So
right.
Who else? I think that's Avon ladies. That's the biggie, man. If the Avon ladies can pull off their set,
it's going to be a good night.
then the planets have aligned.
We got to give a shout out to Russ Smith, who's always backed local bands and most of these bands that'll be playing for Gus.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Russ is a big Gus fan too. So his place, the Lodge, perfect.
Yeah.
Everything,
right.
The stars are aligned. October 21st. No excuses. Just like, no excuse to go check out Sinister Dane Saturday with Roger Force on Mice and Pop.
That's right.
And 33 on the Needle, which is Todd Keith's band.
Yeah, they'll be there too.
Full circle, right there.
Yeah. Wow, I'm busy.
Yeah.
That's great,
that was before I even came here, though. It's been since '82. So
you just say it every now and then, just let everybody know.
Yeah.
You're still dizzy? Yeah, I'm still dizzy.
No more than normal.
All right, so there you go.
Yeah. So hey, man,
Thanks a lot, man. Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming in, and if anybody listening finds himself in Austin, Texas, stop in Bon Air. It'll make you feel like you're at home for just a minute. You'll be like, wow, I'm Bon Air in Texas. So there you go.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, shameless plugs. That's what we're all about, right? That's what the whole show's based on, right? So, all right. Hey, thanks for coming down, guys.
Thank you guys.
Good luck at the
Appreciate
show
it.
again, October 21st at Lovejoy at the Lodge, and everybody. We just gave you a ton of stuff to do, so just get out and support local music and art.